Homestead Act was signed on May 20th, 1862, during when the Civil War was happening. It was signed by Abraham Lincoln with the purpose to give the people a chance to earn money by giving them extremely cheap land. As said by Lincoln, it was to elevate the condition of men, to lift artificial burdens from all shoulders, and to give people an unfettered start and a fair chance in the race of life. The Homestead Act had resulted in 4 million homestead claims. This was because they really wanted the westward expansion, as it encouraged people to settle on the Great Plains, which currently had no one settling on it. The law gave land to the homesteaders that paid $18 to $10 filing fee to make a temporary claim on the land, $2 for commission to the land agent, and an additional $6 final payment to receive an official patent on the land. The rule was that any adult citizen or future citizen who had never borne arms against the U.S. government could claim 160 acres of land from the government with 6 months of proven residency. Each acre of land cost $1.25, which was really cheap for an acre of land, which is a lot. On January 1st, 1863, Daniel Freeman made the first claim under the Act. The claimants were required to improve the land, yet that the land was cheap, there is a twist. Since they were in the Great Plains, the land was dry and full of bugs that would eat up people's crops, such as crickets and other bugs. The land was dry and it was super hard to farm on, considering the fact that there were lots of bugs and animals that would come to their farms and eat the crops. They were in the Great Plains, so that meant that there were a lack of trees. This is why most of the homesteaders had used dirt to make their homes. Most of the farmers who had tried to live there had gone into debt. The farmers had to borrow money from banks and pay it back when they sold their next crops. This made them go into debt. Since there were so many crops going for sale, it wasn't really in high demand since there was a lot of it. So lots of the farmers' sales started to go down and began to lose money. While they were farming, there was a lack of water as well, since the weather was unpredictable, and therefore it led to a lot of crops dying. So there were a lot of water shortages. This led to many homesteaders to abandon their land before the 5-year mark, so they could officially have the land for themselves. Yet that didn't happen for most of the homesteaders, since the farming conditions were terrible and it didn't last very long before they abandoned their land.
I got 160 acres in the valley.
The Homestead Act ended with the enactment of the Taylor Grazing Act, signed by President Franklin D. Roosevelt in 1934. This was an act to stop settlers from going on new land in the West. Therefore, the Homestead Act came to an end. The Homestead Act was signed to encourage American settlers to expand westward, help out American lives, and support the American economy. Many American settlers rushed to get this land for more opportunities and a better life, but the Homestead Act came with a catch. The weather was terrible, the land was too dry, pests infested crops, and the economy dropped. These reasons caused the homesteaders to abandon their land and forced the government to prohibit settlers on the land, making the Homestead Act a failure. Thank you for watching and have a nice day.
Fly like birds on high, then straight to her arms.